Greetings, I'm Alfarius and welcome to another painting video. In this video I'll be painting a member of the ever-elusive Alpha Legion. No one knows the true intentions of this secretive legion, but a lot of them fell to chaos. I'm going to paint one in the same style as I painted my Night Lords, using the airbrush and streaking grime. Let's begin, shall we? I'll start with the main armor color. First, I prime the model with black primer. I make sure I cover everything, all the nooks and crannies. Next, I'm coating the model with Incubi Darkness. I cover most of the model, but I do spray in certain angles so the black primer stays visible on the parts which are in shadow. Here, I'm spraying Sotek Green on the model. Again, I do this from certain angles and make sure I hit the parts where the light would hit. This creates a gradient with the previous color. The last step with the dry brush is with Temple Guard Blue. Here, I'm purely focusing on highlighting the armor panels. Back to the brush. I use Temple Guard Blue again and add more refined highlights, using the airbrush gradients as a guide. If there is a darker part I'd like to highlight, I still do the edge, as it could reflect some light anyway. I'm not really going for full-on realism here, and it has to be aesthetically pleasing. I use a mix of Temple Guard Blue and Blue Horror to brighten the highlights even more. Finally, I dot the highlights using Blue Horror to create the light reflecting. The armor looks a little bit too blue, so I mix Akhelian Green with a lot of contrast medium and paint the entire armor. This gives it a more turquoise sheen. I'm really seeing the advantage of using an airbrush when painting Space Marines. The big armor panels really lend well to zenithal highlighting. Of course, you can use these steps with a brush. In that case, make sure to water down the paints so they'll blend with the previous layers. I use Iron Hand Steel to paint all the metal trimmings on the armor, plus the various metal on the weapons. To add some variety, I paint several decorations and skulls with Balthasar Gold. I shade all the metal with Nuln Oil. I use Runefang Steel to highlight all the metal parts. And I use Canoptek Alloy to highlight all the bronze parts. All cables and the inner suit of the Space Marine are painted with Abaddon Black. Then I use Dawnstone to highlight. Here is the result of all the metal painted and the cables. Let's have a look at the belt and pouches next. I paint the belt and pouches with Thondia Brown. Then I shade it with Agrax Earthshade. And highlight with Baneblade Brown. The brown really works well with the turquoise armor. Much better than black would be in my opinion. Next, I'm going to tackle the ripped tabard hanging from his belt. The tabard is painted with Karak Stone. I needed 2 tries to get a nice even coat. I shade the tabard with Agrax Earthshade. Make sure that the shade doesn't pull up too much in the recesses, or you'll get these weird shiny dark blobs. I highlight the tabard with Screaming Skull. As you can see, I've added a transfer of the Alpha Legion symbol. With the Micro Set and Micro Sol, you can shape the transfer to conform to these irregular surfaces. If you'd like me to explain some basic hobby stuff like this, definitely let me know in the comments. The gun casing and chainsword I paint with Corvus Black. This is a very nice off-black color that covers really well. I highlight with Administratum Grey. The head is base coated with Pallid Wych Flesh. Apply 2 thin coats to allow the details to remain visible. I shade the head with Guilliman Flesh. With the previous base coat, this gives a nice sickly reddish skin tone. I highlight the head with Kislev Flesh. And add another highlight of Flayed One Flesh. I paint the eyes with Rhinox Hide. I could add more detail, but I doubt it will be very visible. Adding some shade to the eyes will at least create some depth. As with the Night Lords, I will paint the entire model with streaking grime, except the head. I allow the streaking grime to dry a little bit before applying white spirit with either a rag or Q-tip. This removes the streaking grime from the uppermost parts, showing the original colors while dirtying up the recesses. And here we have an Alpha Legionnaire ready to do all kinds of covert and secret missions. You can also use this tutorial for your Horus Heresy Alpha Legion as well. I'll be painting all the undivided Chaos Legions now in the next few videos. Up next are the Iron Warriors. Stay tuned for that, and in the meantime be sure to check out my Instagram where I post pictures of current projects and behind the scenes stuff. But for now, I'm Alfarius saying thanks for watching.